Tubas here in 619, coming back at you here with another video. It's been a minute, maybe about 2 months or so since the last video. Once I made it back to work, that was it. Kind of got spread across the board. Didn't take too long. The first day I was in, the second day I was flying out somewhere. So, but just haven't had a chance to make a video. This is kind of the first weekend I've had to where I can just kind of settle down, relax, and unwind, so to speak. But I got a ton of stuff to go through here. I mean, this whole back end is just full of pickups that I had got in during my time that I was injured that I've never made a video for. Got set a background here. I'm going to do a response to my YouTube brother Nate, Topps85401. His little contest that he's got going on. Show some of your favorite vintage cards, and I like to participate too in Caleb Cards contest as well. That'll be another video. It's just going to be a series of videos here, probably throughout the whole entire week. I got a ton of stuff to get through. There's probably about 70 graded cards back there that I need to go through, for just various things that I'm working on. Where do I begin? I mean, it's just vintage is my thing, so I'd probably say 90% of my collection is based around vintage. I do have some favorite cards but most of all these cards are my favorite because each one of them that I got, tells a story to it. Most of my collection is based around the Negro Leagues. I've stated that, and other previous videos, but I don't know where to begin, man. So I guess I'm just going to start with kind of random things here. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just get started. The first card I'm going to show you is this 1950 Don Newcombe rookie here. This is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous card of Don Newcombe. This is the third time I've owned this card. I've owned it in a 5, and this is a 6. I had it in an 8. The 8 I auctioned off at my son's for my son's school, I should say. And I just donated the winnings to them. My son was doing a project, and he wanted to help out his school, so I just auctioned it off, and whatever it sold at, I gave it to the school. But this one's not going to go anywhere. It's in an excellent mint 6. I love Don Newcombe. A lot of history behind Don Newcombe coming from the Negro Leagues. He's a 4-time All-Star, World Series champion, an NL MVP, a Cy Young Award winner. He's also an NL Rookie of the Year, plus an MLB wins leader and an MLB strikeout leader as well. And he's another black pitcher with 20 wins under his belt. He had 20 wins, I believe, in 1951, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of history, with him. He's the first, black pitcher to start a World Series game. In 1951, he was the first black pitcher to win 20 games. I stated that, and also became the first black pitcher to win the NL MVP and the Cy Young Award in the same season. So just a tremendous pitcher in my eyes. I got a chance to meet Don Newcombe on a couple of different occasions. He's a really nice gentleman and loves to talk baseball. I've asked him some personal questions on basically how was things coming through the Negro Leagues to the major leagues, and some of the things that he had to experience as a black man to play baseball in the majors. And it was quite the story, man. It was really, really touching and heartfelt because my parents grew up in the 30s, and they used to share some of those stories, so I could relate to what Don Newcombe experienced to some degree through my parents' eyes and experiences. So this card means a lot to me. It's up there as far as one of my favorite all-time cards. Don Newcombe, 1950 Bowman. Next card I'm going to show you here is my 1951 rookie card of Monte Irvin. This one is graded by PSA in a near mint 7. Another guy who started his career off in the Negro Leagues and came into the majors, and pretty much the rest is history. He's a Hall of Famer, and a lot of history behind him. With Monte Irvin, he was an All-Star, World Series champion, and an NLRBI leader. And in the Negro Leagues, he was a 5-time All-Star and won the Negro League World Series championship. And guy was dominant, man. But the unique story about Monte Irvin is what he had to do to get to the majors. I mean, baseball wasn't even his first love. I mean, he was an incredible football player. A lot of people might not know that about him, but he definitely, if he wanted to, could have pursued a career off in football. But he decided to change up. It was one time, I read a story. What changed his mind about going and playing baseball is, he was out with one of his friends and playing catch, and a lot of his friends and kind of influenced him to take a turn and go into baseball. So that's really how he began to kind of pursue in his baseball career. But he was a hell of a player in the Negro Leagues. Played the right field, played left field. He's a Jersey boy. Grew up in New Jersey, and played football for Lincoln University. Folks out there that's from New Jersey can relate to that. But he was just an absolutely monster of a player. But more importantly, he was a supportive teammate and a mentor to so many people. And you talk about Willie Mays. Monte Irvin was Willie Mays' mentor, and I've read quite a few stories where he taught Willie Mays to kind of behave himself in certain ways to kind of stay above approach. There's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and Monte Irvin was always there for Willie Mays, and that just speaks ton to his character. So this is one of my favorite cards in my collection, and I'm really excited that I could own this card in this type of shape. So 1951 Bowman Monte Irvin. Next card I'm going to show you is the apologize about that. The Jim Gilliam, and I can't say enough about Jim Gilliam because this was I know so much about him because, like I said, this was my mom's favorite player in the Negro Leagues, and boy, did she really like him. She used to talk about him like they were a couple. But for Jim Gilliam, began playing for a local semi-pro team. Back when he was just 14 years old, and dropped out of high school to pursue a career in baseball. Just an incredible story behind him. And after he did that, the Baltimore Elite Giants from the Negro Leagues acquired him from 1946 to 1950. He's a 3-time All-Star. All 3 years that pretty much he was in the Negro Leagues, he was an All-Star. And he was pretty good, but he got really better when the legendary George Scales taught him how to switch hit. And when he did that, he became, just incredible, and ended up, signing with the Dodgers organizations and played for their minor league teams and for the Montreal Royals. And he was incredible for the Royals. He couldn't play for the Dodgers AA affiliate, but because back then in the Texas League, I believe the name of that team was the Fort Worth Cats. I believe the name of that team was, and back then, blacks was still barred from playing in the Texas League, but he led the international leagues in runs both years in 1951 and 1952. So when he came into the majors, he was, a stud. And if you look at through the history, the numbers for Jim Gilliam don't really speak to his talent because, he was quite the player. I mean, incredible player. And he was a hell of a teammate as well. He was one of those guys that, you know, if you were going to go on the battle, this would be one of the guys that you would want by your side, because you can look this man in the eyes and you knew that at the end of the day, he would go to battle with you. And like I said, he was one of my mother's favorite players, and just really stoked that I could have this card. And I believe that card is undergraded too as well. It's really sharp. It's graded a VGX4, but I believe that card should be a 6. If you know, I may have that regraded, but glad I can have that in my collection. So 1953 Junior Gilliam. Next card I'm going to show. I don't think I've ever showed this card before. This is Dave Hopkins, and he has a tremendous story. A lot of people might not know about this guy, but you know, he was incredible. You know, for the Indians for his year that he played there, and he pitched in 26 games, I believe it was, but began his career too in the Negro Leagues. He played for the Ethiopian Clowns, the Homestead Grays, and the Cincinnati Clowns. And he was huge, man. He wasn't always a pitcher, but he was definitely a strong hitter. He batted for the Grays. He batted 344, 351, and 317, if I'm not mistaken, and served as the club's best pitcher too when he switched in 1945. And the funny thing about it, in 1945, him, Sam Jethro, and Jackie Robinson were all chosen as Negro Leaguers to be given a joint tryout, you know, in a camp, you know, sponsored by Boston Red Sox and the Braves. But he ended up missing it because he was injured. It was really too bad. But he ended up, you know, meeting with Satchel Paige, and Satchel Paige kind of gave him some strong words on what direction he should go, and that direction led to signing with the Cleveland Indians back then. But it was funny because when he came on, you know, the Cleveland Indians ended up signing him as a big hitter, not a pitcher, but he ended up switching the pitcher when he joined the team because he was so tired of people throwing balls at him. Matter of fact, when you read his story, there's a quote in there where he says, "I'm tired of pitchers throwing at me, so I made my mind to switch the pitcher to throw at other guys." So it's a crazy story. But in 1953 was his best moment with Cleveland, where he ended up relieving for Bob Feller, and he came in to shut it down, and boy, did he shut it down. So just an incredible card. This is his 1954 Topps rookie card. It's graded in a near mint 7, and happy I can own that. So I could go on and on and on, guys. I got a ton of cards that are like it, but I kind of, you know, this video is already 13 minutes long. I don't want to go any further. So these are some other favorite cards of mine. There's a 55 Jackie Robinson and a 56 Hank Aaron right there, and the Satchel Paige in the middle. But that's all I got, guys, for you. I hope everyone enjoyed. Nate, thank you for the contest, and congratulations again to you and Sandra for you know, getting married. But that's all I got. So, man, be on the lookout. I got care packages I need to get through, and these other pickups as well. So, as always, guys, until the next video, stay blessed, and I'll talk to you super soon. Bye.